All right, excellent afternoon to all those who are watching me across the states in Nigeria. And I must say, who said women cannot break barriers? Who said that there was a limit what a woman can become? I am one of them. I'm a proof that, yes, there's no limit to women. Yes, this is not a talk about equality, but equity is a confirmation of possibility, and of course in terms of conviction of what women can become and what a woman can do in terms of transformation in this world that we live in. Again, I say welcome to another interesting episode of Real Talk with Kike. A woman created this platform, and I know that there are many other women that can beat that and do better. I think on this note, it's time for us to quickly hear what On This Day in History segment asks for us. When I return, we'll come and analyze that, and the conversation will continue. Stay with me, I'll be right back.
On this day in history, the 12th of October, 1968, the 1968 Summer Olympics begins in Mexico City with a record 21 African countries participating. Libya competes for the first time, as do Tanganyika and Zanzibar, united as Tanzania. South Africa is banned due to its racist apartheid government. These Olympic Games will establish Kenya's distance dynasty. Among the notable entries, Libya made its debut appearance at the Olympic Games, as did the united team of Tanganyika and Zanzibar, competing under the banner of Tanzania. However, the 1968 Summer Olympics also carried the significant absence of South Africa. The country was banned from participating due to its oppressive apartheid government policies, which were widely condemned internationally. This ban served as a strong message against racism and discrimination in sports.
All right, many thanks for staying with me. Yes, there are quite a number of things that goes on when we go on break. So I must say, all right, what's my submission on today's on this day in history segment? I just feel that the 1968 Summer Olympics in Mexico City, symbolizes the confidence of sports, in terms of politics and of course the social change as well. And the event, is an historical significance, that lies in its own stand against racism and of course discrimination, providing a lasting legacy and a reminder for all that whatever thing that is ongoing at the moment in terms of struggle for justice and equality, I think that this is what On This Day Edition segment today, message stands for. And I hope that, we'll continue to, justice will continue to prevail in everything that we stand for. And on this note, I think it's time for us to quickly get a quick message from my sponsor. When I return, the main conversation will continue. Stay with me, I'll be right back. All right, many thanks for staying with me. In this episode today, I have the privilege of hosting two distinguished, guests from the Women in Management, Business and Public Service. That's Wimbiz, Wimbiz organization. Wimbiz is a pioneering Nigerian non-profitable organization that is dedicated to empowering women in various aspects of life. And I believe that today, they have been championing that when it comes to a lot of things. So we will delve into the upcoming 22nd annual, Wimbiz conference, a dynamic platform designed to inspire and foster growth for women across the world. Yes, and on today's discussion, I believe that I will further take the conversation to where we can all there will be some sort of involvement around the conference center, the theme, and of course the event taking place on November 3rd. There's a debate on artificial intelligence, on friend or foe, or for those who do not understand, it means enemy, and of course the 5 enlightening preliminary sessions that, you know, touches on navigating male-dominated industry, you know, in terms of how we can actually look for how to triumph in rough times or in tough times, building strong alliances, of course, personal equilibrium as well, and of course, self-care. I believe that self-care is important when it comes to self-development, and the journey of women in terms of entrepreneur is something I will be emphasizing on as well, from the startup to success, you know. And I believe that to all those who are watching right now, who are listening to me, you know, I believe that we all can explore how all this that I've thought about, you know, spoken about now, you know, how we can both navigate it in in our country, Nigeria, knowing that there's no issue, there's no ease of doing business in this country. Yes, you know, so this thought-provoking topic, you know, and discussions, you know, around the theme that is coming up to, this year on November 3rd, you know, from Wimbiz. I believe that it brothers on a lot of development for women in today's over challenging world that we found ourselves today, especially with the fact that our economy is not thriving well at the moment. But guys, let me hold my breath. All the nitty-gritty, all those words that are put, the people who are going to be showing light on this issue are actually in the studio right now. I will go on a quick break to check their profile out, and you understand why they are the right fit to actually come and throw light on this year's conference that is coming up in few weeks' time. I think in 3 weeks or so, thereabouts. Yeah, so stay with me. When I return, you will be hearing from them. All right, many thanks for staying with me. Of course, let me use this opportunity to usher in my beautiful two guests. You know, that's Molade Adeniyi and of course Tolulope Olorundero
Dero.
Apologies, guys. You know, it's a pleasure to have you both on Real Talk with Kike
Thank
today.
you
And you have women, you know, who are doing a lot of great things, a lot of exploits out there for the women community at large. And I must say well done to you both. You know, even as much as I asked you guys before coming, did you guys both plan this touch of green and red? Yeah. I can even still see red in ours.
I mean, honestly, we're always in sync, I guess.
And this is a Wimbiz color.
We didn't talk about it.
Well,
the red
is a Wimbiz color.
Color, but not the green.
Not the green.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Nigeria.
Yeah, Nigeria. I can see, you know. So let's just go straight to the topic at hand. Let me start with you, Molade, because you are the chair of the 2023 conference, you know, planning group. And I would like you to tell us more about this, because I believe that the 2022nd annual Wimbiz conference and its significance, you know, in terms of the context of women empowerment. I've had quite a number of people from Wimbiz rather, who have actually been on this seat a couple of times, most times maybe 3 or 4 times in a year. You know, I've seen Mrs. Adegbite, you know, of course, Ngozi as well, Ngovri, quite a number of them that have been here as a Talabi as well. A lot of women who have been on this platform trying to enlighten people across the globe, especially when also the date is close to the annual conference. So I want you to tell us the significance of this year's conference.
So I think maybe permit me before I do that to just really talk about Wimbiz first of all. For those who don't know and they're joining us for the first time or hearing about Wimbiz for the first time, Wimbiz stands for Women in Management, Business and Public Service. And you know, it was the idea of one man actually. So this is something that people don't always know. It's the idea of one man who is who came together with so we have 13 founding trustees at Wimbiz. Conversations happened on a dining room table, around the dining room table, and the idea was really born out of this vision. How can we create something that is a catalyst, that, you know, acts as a catalyst to help women, inspire, mentor, motivate women, and really help influence, you know, increase the influence of women as they contribute to their quota to nation building generally. That really is where Wimbiz stands from. Everybody always hears about the annual conference, Kike, but the annual conference is one of many events of Wimbiz. It is the flagship event, now in its 22nd year. 22 is not a small feat at all. Now in its 22nd year, the annual conference is that opportunity where we gather over 2,000 women in one room for what are you looking for? Are you looking for inspiration? Are you looking for mentorship? Are you looking for an opportunity to just expand your mind, expand your horizon? Are you looking for just network opportunities? Are you looking to get out of your shell? You know, you're looking for an opportunity to sit in a room with other inspiring women and hear stories that would propel you into doing that next big thing. That is what the annual conference does for you. Like I said, it's one of many events of the conference. I will talk more. I'm sure we'll talk a lot more about the theme, the dates, etc.
I know what you're talking about, being a life member as well. So, you know, let me come to you, Tolulope, because I know that you are the communication and publicist, you know, when it comes to the committee chair for this year. And I feel that the conference, you know, also when it comes to one of the events that is going to take place, which is the debate, you know, that people are talking about artificial intelligence. And in my head, I'm like, hey, artificial intelligence, friend or foe, you know, for those who do not understand foe, it means enemy. You know, I would like you to elaborate on this, because I just feel that the topic chosen, you know, for women who are watching us right now, what is the relevance of this topic?
Well, so I guess I should start from the fact that the theme for the conference itself is Mission and Possible, Thrive. Now, that theme sets the stage for all the plenary sessions, including the debate that you seem very interested in. I'm also eagerly looking forward to that as well. But the theme, Mission and Possible, really speaks to the issues and the situation in the country today. In coming up with that theme, first of all, it was really us looking at what's happening in the country, how has it impacted us as women, and what's happening globally. One of the key things happening globally is artificial intelligence and the increase in the adoption of artificial intelligence. And then, of course, people are then wondering, this thing that seems so big, I mean, at the beginning of the year, I know that I even wrote something on my LinkedIn about how if you think that artificial intelligence is going to replace your communications team, then you should just fire them, because obviously your communications team is not even doing what they should be doing if you think technology can replace human beings. So with all of these conversations happening around artificial intelligence, is it going to replace people? Are people going to lose their jobs? How is it impacting us as children, as parents? We have children now. I mean, there are so many issues and conversations online about how this would impact children. Parents are concerned. What's the extent of autonomy I can give my kids if they have a phone? How much indoctrination are my children now going to be open to with the use of all these technologies? So the Wimbiz conference is providing a platform for us to come and have this conversation. We are bringing experts, people who are going to show us and discuss the pros and cons of artificial intelligence, both from a business perspective, from a parenting perspective, and from a growth perspective. Because obviously in all these facets of life, as a woman, artificial intelligence has its impact and also has negative connotations. So it's going to be a significant and very interesting, and I expect very 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 interactive session at the debates during
Fantastic
the
insights right there. Well done, well done. And even me, I'm looking forward to that
Certainly.
already, you know. But, you know, Molade, let me come to you as the chair of the, you know, conference planning group, and I believe that with what you've shared thus far, it's important for you to further emphasize, for especially when it comes to attendees, you know, who has a lot of high expectations, you know. I want you to further let us know in terms of formats and content, what should they be looking for, what are the different activities lined up, if it's possible for us, for you to share within those 2 days events.
Sure, I'll give some I'll give some tidbits. Now, I don't want to give too much away, but so the conference is holding November 2nd and 3rd at Eco Hotel. It's open to both physical and virtual attendees, so it's a hybrid conference. So we envisage that people will join from all over the world, and we've had people join from various places. So if you're unable to make it down physically, we're still there for you. And the conference, you know, there's many aspects of the conference. We have plenary sessions. You know, we have topics like, you know, excelling in male-dominated industries. You know, there's been times where we've seen women who have gone into industries that have historically been dominated by men. How do you thrive? We're going to hear from women who have made a success of that. We're going to hear about personal equilibrium, you know, excelling in a VUCA world, in a volatile uncertainty, a world of uncertainty and complexity, etc. Because again, our mental wellness is important to us. And it's one thing that as successful women, we always tend to deprioritize everybody else around us as well. But what about us? So we will be talking about that. We'll be talking about transgenerational success. How do you build a business that really outlives you? So we'll be hearing from those that have done it, women, men, etc. You know, I like to say, so this is not a women only. We're not saying no men allowed.
Exactly.
There are men that are speaking on the plenaries for us. We just want people to be able to learn from people who have been, you know, who have gone ahead of us. So we have plenary sessions. Let me go very quickly. We have Wimbiz conversations, which are like little short conversations on specific things. There's one specific on leadership. I can never emphasize leadership enough. We have things around, you know, breakout sessions where we go in depth into something, almost like they become like workshops and master classes. There is one particular area around parenting and its modern day challenges. We all know what it is. A lot of us are here, our children are in different countries, etc. How do you sort of deal with that? This year, for the first time, we're bringing an exhibition to the conference. So there's going to be businesses who are exhibiting. There's also health that we have, you know, an opportunity to come and check your vitals as well. Again, things that we don't have time to do. We want to make that 2-day worth it for everyone who will.
Great submission right there. Well done to you guys. You know, you guys are doing a fantastic job. But let me come to you. She has mentioned quite a number of, you know, T's at the moment in terms of leadership, in terms of, you know, women coming out of their shell. And I feel that as a communicator, let me ask you, what do you have to share in terms of the insight of the role of effective communication? Because I feel that the public right now, or as a publicist right now, you need to share a lot of tips regarding that, knowing that women of today, you know, some of them are still in their shell. So how can women, you know, come out with your message today in terms of empowerment, especially when it comes to this event at the moment, and also breaking the shell of, you know, being engaged with public speaking?
Okay, so I'm a communications consultant, and one of the services that one of the things that I do, and the segments that I support, are executive, senior executive women.
Okay.
And it would interest you to know that you have very successful professional women who are still very shy. They just want to remain in their corner. They don't want people to know what they're doing. But I'm doing the work and my organization sees me, so I'm okay. The conference is an opportunity for you to step out of that mold. One of the challenges we have as women is that for some, culturally, societally, there's some expectations for us not to talk a lot about the results that we've achieved, or just not to tout your own on, because it will seem like you're not humble enough, you are proud, and those are not very feminine attributes. And so because of that, some of the opportunities that we should be getting as women, we don't get it because we are not able to speak effectively about the results that we have. One session that I'm certainly looking forward to at the conference is the one on personal branding, right? I mean, it looks like everybody is talking about personal branding today, but we cannot talk about it enough, right? Because there are still so many women who are just not doing it or not doing it right. Obviously, personal branding is not just about you coming out to say what you are not, or to say what you are not doing, right? The ones that you're doing in the space that you are in, how are you communicating it? How are you using the platforms available? So if you go back to our talk about technology earlier, all the social media platforms, it's not just about maybe talking about family life or the shopping sprees that you go to. These are platforms that you can use to talk about your professional achievements, let the world know what you're doing, and so that you can also expand your own network as well. Let me say finally, in this age, you will see that quite a number of people are now working remotely. And what that means is that you are mostly maybe in your house. For example, I've been working remotely for some 7 years now, right? And I'm almost always at home. This is one of the opportunities I have to step out of my house. And so one of the things that does is that it isolates you, right? You are mostly only communicating with your colleagues and maybe people that you can reach out to on the internet. But what a conference like Wimbiz does is it helps you to meet other people. Speak, open your mouth in the event that you're always just sending emails and maybe there are some mouth issues cropping up. The Wimbiz conference is really an opportunity, really, for you to meet people, engage people. You think you know so much until you meet somebody that shows you that actually you don't know enough.
Many thanks again for that elaborate submission and insight right there. Well, Ade, let me come to you because you know we've run out of time. We are supposed to go on a quick break now. Okay. But let me ask you this question because I feel that the plenary sessions, you know, navigating through rugged male-dominated industry sounds intriguing, you know, and I would like you to share more light on that and how can, you know, women overcome all these barriers, especially in the traditional male, you know, dominated fields, you know, and what exactly is the takeaway that you feel that, you know, women should be looking forward to in different sessions that will be offered? That's the first question. The second question to you, I'm giving you a double question now, is the fact that, I can handle it. In the grid of stories of triumph, you know, I know that there are a lot of preliminary sessions that you both mentioned right now. What inspiring stories do you think that people should be looking forward to in terms of lessons that can be learned from them, that they can draw from in terms of individual development? Shab mentioned that right now, and I feel that social media have become a tool of validation. You know, how do you actually educate these women beyond just technology in terms of how to succeed in their own challenging times, aside what they're seeing on socials? I think it's pretty much really important for you to share light on that. It
is, and I really want to say this is exactly why you need to attend the conference. So I don't want to give too much away. But just like you have said, we're going to hear stories of triumph. We have a lineup of amazing people who are going to come and share. You know how in life, you know, we all come out, we all look pretty, our faces are made up, but there are so many things that are going on in life, in business, in your career. We're going to have people who maybe you see today and you aspire to be like. They're going to come and share their stories of the tough times and how they have been able to kind of move through that. It's not about whether you are knocked down or not. It's what do you do when you get knocked down, because we all get knocked down. Absolutely. Life is not going to hand you any free.
No one has it perfect.
You have to get through it. So we're going to be sharing those stories. I don't want to give away. Just come and register. www.wimbizannualconference.com or visit wimbiz.org. All the registration details are there. With the male-dominated industries, there are women that are doing amazing things. So let's think of, I mean, things have changed. So let's give that as well. Things have changed. There are more women in many more industries these days. So we're going to be hearing from women who have entered industries like oil and gas, aviation, you know, different industries that typically what you see is the face of a man. Yes. Like so you will come and you would hear about women who are CEOs, who are, you know, captains of industry in industries that have typically been dominated by men, and how they have navigated that. You know, sitting in a boardroom where you're the only woman, what do you do? So attend the conference, www.wimbizannualconference.com, November 2nd and 3rd, Eco Hotel. Registration is still open. You don't want to miss this.
All right, guys, you've heard it from the best marketer from Wimbiz. So, guys, let's go on a quick break. And when I return, the conversation will continue. Stay with me. This is Real Talk with Kike. All right, glad to know you're still with us. In case you just joined the show, today's conversation is about the upcoming event of Wimbiz, the annual Wimbiz events. This is the 22nd year annual conference, and of course, a powerful house of ideas, inspiration for women's development, and be shared thus far. I believe women who are watching us right now should actually go and start registering. And I believe that, you know, it's happening again on the 2nd and 3rd of November. Let me emphasize, on the days 2nd and 3rd of November, you know, next month, and we're still with our esteemed guests. You know, they've been sharing quite a number of tips regarding, you know, what people should be looking forward to with this Wimbiz conference this year. And I must say many thanks, you know, Molade, Adeniyi, for all that you've been sharing thus far. And of course, to Tolulope, Oluwa, Olorundare, oh gosh, Olorundare, apologies, I'm still a Yoruba woman, you guys did not that, you know. Yeah, it's a beautiful name, I must emphasize, of course, and they've been, you know, delving through the deeper issues that affect women, and of course that will also be looked into in this conference when it comes to the critical theme, and of course the impact on women in terms of advancement, self-development, and also to address the specific challenges that women face in dominated male industry. And quite a number of things have been shared thus far. And I must say that it's not just with men. For those who are listening to me right now, you know, for the men, I don't want anybody to call me and send me a message and say, Kike, what about the men? It's gender empowerment for all. So let me emphasize on that. And remember that you can be part of this conversation by calling the studio numbers 080988740 showing on your screen right now. And of course, we're live on Facebook and on YouTube, both on Real Talk with Kike and on Silverbird platform. So guys, again, I say thank you so much for, you know, throwing light and for all the wonderful thing that you guys are doing in the community. I think it's important for me to emphasize on that, because you know, it takes a village, you know, to create all of this. I know that there are quite a number of people who you guys are working with and all of that. But Molade, let me come to you now, because building strong alliances, I believe that is very important, especially with the theme in terms of the collaboration preliminary that you've mentioned earlier. Of course, when it comes to also, will I say, explaining the importance of such alliances for women in terms of advancement, and of course the examples of successful collaborations thus far. But you know how they say it, women don't support women. So I just feel that I should touch on this when you're talking about all this collaboration for women and all of that. How do you think that women who are listening to us right now will say, I don't want to be in the community of these women, I don't know this, they'll be watching it, because it does happen. Yes, we keep it real on this platform. So what do you have to say to them to encourage them to actually be a part of this organization that is impacting the world at large?
So, I mean, you know what, I don't want to take away from that, because I do agree that, you know, you hear the stories of women don't support women, etc., etc. I have been an associate member of Wimbiz now, and I always lose track since 2012, 2013, something like that. And honestly, some of my strongest alliances and some of my strongest success factors have been collaborations with women. I think that when we all know, you know, there's that African proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together, go with others. And therefore, collaboration, and also a good time to mention that when we talk about collaboration and partnerships at Wimbiz, it is beyond just women and women. It is collaborations with everybody in the around you, men, women, organizations, businesses, etc. People that are younger, people that are older, more senior in career, not as senior, etc., etc. But I do think that when I think about collaborations and I think about working with women, for as many people as say, I have tried to work with a woman and it hasn't worked, I dare say that there are many more women that are ready to support you and to help you along that journey. So you can't give up because of one bad experience. So come and listen again, come to the annual conference and listen to our, the plenary of grit, stories of triumph. And people are going to share their stories of how they have been able to effectively collaborate with women. Some of the amazing collaborations that I've had is literally just walking up to someone at a Wimbiz conference that I've never met before, sharing stories, sharing connections, and from there we build it on.
Fantastic
So
one, right?
Let me just add to what she has said. So I run a female-owned and led organization. 2 of them, all my staff are women. I'm the owner of those organizations, and about 99% of our clients are women. Right? So if women were not supporting women, I wouldn't be here in the first place.
So if you are talking about that right now, I would like us to talk about the personal equilibrium that I feel that we are living in a fast-paced world today. How can women achieve self-care and balance? Because, we cannot hide from the fact that there's this VUCA, what I mean by that, the violence, the uncertainty, and of course the complaints and the ambiguous world that we live right now, that that is a challenge for quite a number of women. What's your advice in terms of balance?
So let me say first of all that it's important for you to breathe. Yes, you know why? Yes, actually, let's take it. Yes, it's so important because there's a lot going on. There's so many information and so many things happening. If you allow yourself to be overwhelmed by the amount of information available, you literally would not want to take a step, because the question is, where will I even start from, right? So first, recognizing that this is a challenging time and environment. The economy is challenging. The global news, we know what's happening globally in terms of wars and news of wars coming up. Just thinking about the impact of all of that can want to dampen your spirits, whether you're a man or a woman. They now add the dynamic of managing a family and children to your burdens as a woman. You certainly need to take a break. But having said that, recognizing first of all that there are issues beyond your control as a woman is something that you must recognize and be able to make allowance for. Sometimes we try, maybe in business or even in our personal endeavors, we try and make attempts and we fail, and we feel like that's the end of the world. Failure is part of the process of living in a VUCA world, right? There's volatility, there's ambiguity in the world. You are not the only person who is going to fail. You need to embrace that. And one of the things I'm looking forward to at the conference really is listening to those stories of people who have failed before and are now a success. And as much as the speakers at the conference are certainly something to look forward to, I'm actually looking forward to engaging with the people. Sometimes we look at people on stage and you're like, they're so far away, they've achieved too much and I can't really relate with them. There's somebody sitting beside you at that conference. That has a story. There's another woman sitting beside you. All you need to do is turn to your side and say hello. And you're going to be amazed by the stories that you're going to hear. In my own, we were challenged this year by Wimbiz to create a video about our own Mission Impossible story in 2023. And I shared about some of the challenges I've gone through. I've had to manage and create a conference just like this, almost by myself. And I told myself, Tolu, you obviously cannot give up. You said you're going to do it, you have to do it. So even though I did the conference and then broke down for about a month, nobody knows that. But you will see that I did the conference and everything looks okay. You will certainly need to take time to get yourself back together, but recognizing that despite the challenges, it is important for you as a woman to continue to make a success of your own story, because you're not going to borrow any other person's success story and make it your own. And we have a responsibility to the coming generation to do the best that we can.
Fantastic. I think that it's time for you to go on this.
I'm a communications professional. If I cannot speak for
all right, so let's talk about the womenpreneurs. Like I would like to call it, in terms of startups to scale up to successes, and I would like you to throw light on how women women can remain focused on entrepreneurial journeys. You know, she's shared quite a number of things right now regarding women coming out to share their success story, but nobody is actually telling the challenges that they face, but people only see those success stories. So could you outline the key stages and the challenges that you feel that women entrepreneurs, you know, particularly, you know, actually faces that nobody is coming out to actually throw light on it, for them to understand that you know is a step-to-step journey that will make you get to the success story, and how this session, this, you know, Wimbiz session, you know, will address all of that, you know, for all those who are watching us from homes or their offices right now, also going through similar challenges and the likes and all that. I'd like you to throw more light on that.
So, I mean, so we have a session which is titled Womenpreneurs from Startup to Scale Up. The reality is, whether you work in an office or you have a 9 to 5 or not, everybody has, I don't want to call it a side hustle, but every woman has an entrepreneurial journey going on. And whatever it is, everybody should be thinking about, now that I have started up, how do I move to actually scaling this business? Because you want to move to a place of sustainability, et cetera, et cetera. But sometimes, just as Tolu has said, when you look at everything else that is going around, you're like, you know what, let me just manage myself where I am right now. It's okay. But the reality is, it is very possible. So again, linking it back to our theme, you are possible, I am possible. You can thrive. You shouldn't be just about surviving. You should be thinking about thriving. And thriving means moving from startup to scaling up. So we're going to have women and men on this panel who will be talking about their journey through entrepreneurship. Women will be talking about how they started up, the challenges they faced, and challenges are various things, from financial challenges, emotional challenges, collaboration challenges, looking for the right partner.
But how does, I apologize, I have to interrupt your line of thought. How does Wimbiz, you know, envision the impact of this conference, you know, not just as individual attendees, but also as women development, you know, coming out, knowing that beyond what is affecting us in Nigeria, do you understand? Many people are going through challenges like this. How does it envision?
So outside of the conference, Wimbiz also runs a Wimbiz Capital, which is specific for entrepreneurs and women in business. So, and Wimbiz, that WinCap runs programs throughout the year, and it addresses various things. So this year, for instance, we have had sessions on FIRS, LIRS, corporate governance, tax, etc., which are things that a lot of people don't know a lot about, but they're critical to running your business. Wimbiz also runs various seminars on how do you use technology to boost your business. How do we talk about the customer service journey? So again, like I mentioned, the annual conference is just one subset of what we do. But Wimbiz has been able to really think about the different groups and the different pain points. So we have WIMCAP, which is for women in business entrepreneurs. You have women in politics, which is for women who are aspiring politicians, women who want to get into politics. How do I even begin that journey? We have WIMBoard, which is women who want to sit on boards. A lot of women don't, you know, I want to do that, but how do I even start that? So there is a training and a coaching and a mentorship program specific for that. So again, I like to say, the annual conference is just one out of the many things that Wimbiz as an organization is doing to inspire, to motivate and empower women.
Wonderful, fantastic submission right there. Yes, I like the fact that you touched on what I was expecting from you. All right, so I will be wrapping up with you. You know, I started with her, I'll be wrapping up with you, and I feel that, you know, our audience have heard so much from you, you know, and I would like you to touch on how they can get involved, you know, further, you know, when it comes to this Wimbiz and the 22nd annual conference that is coming place. You know, what can they do to contribute to not just their self-development, but to their communities at large? You know, I think that is important and all of that, because I always tell people, when you mention parenting, you know, it takes a village to train the child. So how can they empower themselves outside their lives and also their community? I would like you to touch on that.
Well, certainly. So first of all, for you to, you should get involved. You can register as a Wimbiz associate so that you can have access to all these trainings that Wimbiz runs throughout the year. I'm happy she touched on Wimbiz. I was going to look at you that I'm actually going to mention WIMBoard because I'm a fellow of WIMBoard. Some people also assume that, oh, Wimbiz is just for entrepreneurs and there's not really much for professionals, right? So I'm a career professional. I don't want to run a business. Is it that Wimbiz is not for me? No. WIMBoard is something specifically for female professionals who want to sit on board. And you can even be an entrepreneur within the organization that you run, even if you don't own it. Just understanding how you can advance your career within an organization. And so I certainly encourage people to register as a Wimbiz associate, first of all, just to have access to this fantastic lineup of women, other associates as well, so that you can listen to their own stories and also be challenged and have access to all the year-long program that Wimbiz runs. And then, of course, come to the conference. It's so important. The speakers are amazing, but the women that you are going to meet, I think, are even more powerful. So many times we look ahead for mentors, people who are so far away from us, we may not be able to interact with. But there are people just by your side. There are people at your own level who have actually overcome the challenges that you are facing now. There's somebody that you can speak with. And so sometimes, maybe in the community or in the environment where we are living, there's nobody who is mirroring what we want to be like. Yesterday, I spoke with a lady in Port Harcourt. She has this aspiration of being a photographer. And so she says because she's in Port Harcourt, she's not quite seeing what she wants to be, right? And then she sees that there are exhibitions, photo exhibitions in Lagos, and she thinks that, oh, I should come to Lagos. Guess what? There could be an event like Wimbiz Conference where that woman, and it doesn't have to be somebody that you particularly know, but be open to having conversations. You know, sometimes when we women go to events, we just sit down and we're waiting for somebody to walk up to us. Somebody else is waiting for you to walk up to them. So at this conference, register for it. It's on the 2nd and 3rd of November at the Eco Hotel. And the amazing discounts, by the way, I must mention it. Amazing. In fact, I'm really looking forward to that as well. The amazing discounts that you can have access to. Register for it, www.wimbiz.org.
All right, many thanks to you beautiful women today that came to grace our TV set, and of course shared quite a number of things right now in terms of women empowerment and how they can come out of their shell. I say, you know, congratulations to you both.
Thank
because
you
I know
so
this
much.
is a success story already, because I know what Wimbiz stands for and the kind of women behind them. So, and of course, I think before I let you go, there's this last segment of the show. You people have eaten my time into that. So, you know, it's about trending stories. These are stories that binds us as Nigerians, that affect you and I. And the first trending story that caught my attention is that of the U.S. that wants Israel to uphold laws of war. You know, I think both of you have been talking since morning. So let me give my submission first, then I'll ask for yours. I just feel that the world, you know, is divided right now about the Palestinians and the Israel state crisis. You know, I actually touched on this topic yesterday on my radio show, and I was actually talking about the countries, you know, that are beginning to take side. And as we can see that Europe, US, you know, UK are already in terms of, you know, taking side with Israel. And I can also see that Biden in US has also deployed its weaponry, you know, in terms of his might, you know, to support, you know, the state of Israel. And I think that we need to be clear, you know, that not all Jews are actually in support of what is going on right now, especially in the state of Israel. And in terms of terrorism, and of course, when it comes to the appetite against the Palestinians, I think there are a lot of Jews around the world who have denounced the action of the state of Israel. Likewise, the fight is not also against the Jewish, despite, you know, being majority in this region of Israel that is connected to the gays and all of that, especially when it comes to the trip in the context that we are talking about. And of course, the state of Israel, when it comes to governance or governments ruled by Benjamin, I think Benjamin Netanyahu. I hope I pronounce. I'm on this boy, you know. Yes, you know, and I just feel that with all that is happening right now, it's important for us to understand that the infringing human, you know, bridges is also what is causing all of this divide right now. How can we move forward when it comes to the sanctity of people of Palestinians? I think it's important for me to also touch on that. And with the fact that, you know, the Russians, you know, the South Africans, you know, many African countries and their allies are actually behind the Palestinians as well. You know, like I said yesterday on my radio show, I just feel that it's gradually, you know, forming another world war, if you ask me. You know, these countries are aligning with this, and other countries are aligning with that. The irony of this is that the world will just come to a place where there will be a lot of challenges, you know, Cold War. Do we need that with all that is ongoing right now with Russia-Ukraine crisis. Rather, I just feel that the world, is not only taking sides. We need to actually end the killings that is going on right now. We need to actually come together to heal the world. I opened my radio show again yesterday by Michael Jackson's song, Heal the World. I felt that I needed to actually, use that song to calm ourselves, to understand that we all need to come together. What a shame that the world have come to a place where, terrorism is beginning to take the center stage of our world today. But we should never forget that we also need to learn from other people's challenges. When things happen to me, I said to myself, it's like I don't know how to, it's like when things happen, I just say, what's the lesson in this? What do I need to learn from this? And I'm asking myself, and we should ask ourselves, what are the lessons that we need to pick from all this crisis that is happening around the world? What does it cost us for us to understand that we need to come together as one, to unify ourselves, that peace is quite important. Live and let's live is about this world. I do not think that we need all this crisis that is going on right now, knowing that the history is going to write down our actions. And the reason why on this day in history segment is important on each episode of Real Talk with Kike about what are the legacies that you are leaving behind, because history remind you about that. And we know how the blacks are yet to forgive, the whites when it comes to this slavery period and the likes and all of that. So the blood of those people that they've shed, today, I wonder how the orphans, are going to look at them and say they want to forgive them for the killings of their parents. Can we allow peace to reign? Is how I want to end today's show, because I believe that peace actually pays. What's your take on this?
So, I agree with you from a peace perspective, but maybe I would come from a parent's perspective. Okay. I think right now there's so much information out there, some false, some true. And maybe what I want to just encourage all of us to do, especially as parents, for all the parents out there, is let's not shy away from having these conversations with our parents, with our children, about the things that are going on in the world. Because I think a lot of it stems from how do we also build children who love others. From a heart of love, or kind, or who are kind to others. Because I think from a place of kindness, the roots of some of these things, that's where it sort of comes from. So I know it's kind of slightly different to where you were coming from, but I think let's have those conversations and let's build a generation that is kind to one another.
Fantastic perspective. Yeah.
Well, so I will speak from another perspective. Again, I'm a communications professional. And what I will typically say in situations like this is there's a lot of misinformation war going on about the war in Israel and the Palestinians. I think that from a business perspective, because again, at the root of everything is money, right? Think about Russia and Ukraine, think about Israel. Yes, there's a conversation about territory, but within the territory, it's because there's something in that territory that people are fighting over it. So what I would really say is that let's be careful about the information that we internalize, first of all, and the ones that we share, because these things shape how people take decisions and take action. And the other part of it is communication. At the end of the day, you see, one of the things I believe as a communications person is the world was created because somebody communicated. God spoke, right? And that's a foundation. Whatever issues we're having, nation to nation, woman to woman, man to man, organization to organization,
let's talk about
at the end of the day, let's come together at a table. Because the only way that war is going to end, actually, what we failed to do at the beginning, which was to communicate, that's the way it's going to end. Because people must sit down to agree to a treaty or to a conversation or to a ceasefire. That's how it's going to end. And so at the beginning and the end of it, let's watch what we say, how we say it, and let's always think first about communicating to address issues before we take up arms.
Fantastic right there. Many thanks for your own submission on the issues that affect you and I. Unfortunately, I cannot take the second trendy because apparently I have two communicators, that are coming here to drop shows.
Well,
and I'm really enjoying you guys. I wish that we are not ending today's episode. Definitely, I'm going to be bringing both of you back here after Wimbiz, and of course, I wish you the very best as you continue to forge ahead in your career path. On this note, I think this is where I draw the curtains of the show. Till I come your way next week. Oh gosh, I like to say this on Thursdays. Try to be kind to one another. Put a smile on somebody's face and live life. Bye now.